Hello, students, and welcome to Statistics Lab. Now, this lecture, we're dealing with Chapter 4, which is constructing bar graphs and line graphs in Excel. Okay, so what you will need to do basically for the graphing part is an extension of what you learned in Chapter 3. So you need to graph out the average. Okay, so you need to calculate out the average, and then you need to basically also calculate out the SCM, the standard error of the mean. Okay, and then you can graph out the bar graph or the line graphs. Okay, so now let's do the data set 4.1. Okay, ABC Pharmaceutical Company is marketing a new medication to promote weight loss. While they truly believe and hope the medication works best, they worry that it may not be as effective as a similar product of their biggest competitor. To gain a better understanding of the effectiveness of their new weight loss pill, they gathered a sample of 20 people who wished to lose weight. 10 received the drug from ABC Company, and the other 10 took the competitor's pill. Now, each person is weighed at the start of the study. They take the medication every day for a month. After a month on the medication, each person is weighed, and the percentage of the weight loss in 1 month is recorded for each person. The data appear below. Like I say, okay, so you have ABC and then you have competitor. Okay, so what will we do? All right, so that's it. Open up the Excel. Okay, and I'm just gonna put this here. Start a blank workbook. So you will need to put something like ABC here, and then you put their competitor over here. Okay. So let's just copy this down. 3, 7, 8, 9, 4, 7, 7, 3, 2. Okay. And over here we got 3, 4, 7, 2, 3, 2, 5, 6, 1, 2. All right, double check to make sure that the number that you have is correctly copied. Okay, all right. Now, you remember the last one that you have to calculate like all the very long way? All right, so um, the only thing that you really need is the following. You really need the mean or like the numerical average, right? And you will need the standard deviation. You would need the number uh, of the subjects, and then you will need the standard error of the mean. Okay, so these are the most essential one that you need. Now, if you want to calculate out the long way, you can refer back to your chapter 3. There's nothing wrong with that. But just for graphing purposes, you really only need these 4. Okay, so how do we get the mean? And so you enter the average, right? Left parentheses, highlight, end parentheses, press enter. And standard deviation is the same way as TDEV, left parentheses, and then highlight, and then right parentheses, enter, and this is count, left parentheses, highlight, and then right parentheses, okay? And then now the only thing that we need right now is to calculate out the SEM. So what the formula for the SEM is, um, as you remember from the previous lecture, is equals standard deviation divided by the square root of the ends, which is 10 in this case, okay? And you just copy this, Control C, and come over here, Control C, and then Control V, and then you're done, okay? Now, your textbook goes through something pretty, um, well, your textbook basically want to create another one like this, another column like this, and which you can, it's not a problem. So you just want to copy this over here, and that would be the mean. Okay, and down here you have your SEM. And so over here you want to copy this, and then you want to paste them, and then when you're pasting you want to go pick the values. Okay, because if you don't pick the values, then what happens is that it's gonna give you some weird reference number like that. Okay, so you want to pick the values, paste special values. Okay, and then the SEM, you do exactly the same way. Okay, values. Okay, now all you need to do is just highlight this, and then go to insert, and then go to bar, and then pick this one. All right, and now the next thing that you need to do is just to pretty much clean this up. So we got rid of that, and then we are just adding the axis. Let's go to the line and then go to this. Okay, now we have a solid bar for a solid line for the y-axis, and then now a solid line for the x-axis. Okay. Okay, now let's see what we should do for the actual title. Okay, percent weight loss for 2 different drugs. Okay, so let's just copy that over. Percent weight loss for 2 different drugs. Okay. Now let's take a look at the finished product. So the x-axis we should have company. I mean the x-axis label, and the y-axis label should be mean percent lost. All right, so that's just think it's view. No, I think it's insert. I don't remember. Let's see. So let's go chart design. Okay, so at here, go to the primary horizontal, and then do this again for the primary vertical. Okay, so just change this to, what does your book say? Company. Okay, so that's easy enough. Company. And then the y-axis would be the mean percent lost. Okay, mean percent lost. Okay, now are we done? We're not quite done yet, and the reason is that there's a reason we calculate out the SEM, and that is something that we need, and that's called the error bar. Okay, so what the error bar is basically telling you that uh, with 95% confidence that the true value of the mean for the population is going to be somewhere in here. Okay, so what that means is that there is going to be an upper limit and there's going to be a lower limit, and the true mean that reflects the population is going to be somewhere in here. Okay, so let's add the error bars. So highlight this, go to the add sign here, and then go the thing, check the something that says error bars, and then you want to go to the one that with the arrows, and you go to more options, and then when you scroll down you'll see custom, and you want to specify value. Okay, now when you do this window is going to pop up, and then you just say I want the positive value to be this number. Okay, and I also want the negative value to be here. Okay, and then you just click OK, and then voila, you are done. Now, if this is something that you kind of think that it's hard to see, you can change the color. You can change the color of the fill. So for instance, If you change it to something like this, you'll be able to see the error bars more. Now, um, but when you do this, you probably want to also change the outline a little bit. So that, there you go. That looks pretty good. Okay. All right. Now let's take a look at your second example. Okay. So data set 4.2. Okay. A researcher is investigating sleep pattern in young children. She worries that as children get older, they do not get the recommended 8 hours of sleep per night. She gathers a sample of 24 mothers. 8 of the moms have children aged 6 years. Another 8 moms had a 9-year-old, and the remaining 8 mothers have a 12-year-old child. She asks each of the mothers how much sleep the child gets on average per night. The data follows. Okay, so what you'll need to do is basically you want to create a line graph. And why are we creating a line graph and not a bar graph? Because when you look at the years, 6 years and 12 years, they are running in the same continuum. Okay, they're they're basically, this is not like an indivisible spectrum, which kind of like two different companies. So this is not a discrete variable, but rather this is a continuous variable. So this is why you need to use the line graph instead of the bar graph. Okay, so let's do that right away. And so let's do kind of something very similar to what you did before. So you want 6 year here, okay? And you want 9 year here and 12 years old, okay? Now I'm just gonna copy over the numbers. 7, uh, sorry, on box. 10, 9, 8, 10, 9, 9, 6, 8, 7, 7, 9, 9, 8, 9, 8, 8, 10, 9, 7. Okay, now we really only need the mean, standard deviation, sorry, standard deviation, number, and the SEM, right? So let's just do that for the 6 years old. So equals average, left parentheses, highlight this, right parentheses, enter. All right, and now standard deviation, STDEV, left parentheses, highlight, right parentheses, enter. Okay, now this equals count. Okay, now so to get the SEM, I said it before, I'll say it again, that is you press enter and then you go up, that's the standard deviation, right? Divided by the square root of the number, okay? And then press enter. That's your SEM, right? And now we got the four numbers for this. Now you just need to copy this over, Control C, and then Control V, Control C, Control V, and then there you go. There you have your numbers, okay? And the last thing you need to do is just highlight these. Mhm. And copy special and values, and you'll get this specific box that your textbook kind of wants you to have. Okay, now let's highlight the means and the actual title and then go to insert. Now you don't want to insert the bar graph, you're going to go to this one. It says that insert line or area chart. Okay, you want to insert this one. Okay, all right. Now let's do exactly as what we did last time. So delete the grid lines. Okay, and now we want to fix this because we actually need this number to start from 0. Okay, and the maximum is probably going to be 10. Okay, so that's good. Now that looks pretty good. Okay, I'm happy with that. Okay, and now let's fix the y-axis, and the outline of that should be black, and then this outline of this should be black also. There you go, there you go. So that looks pretty good. Okay, now let's insert, sorry, let's see, what am I missing? Okay, view, help, no, I think chart design. Okay, so add chart element, go to the axis title, so do it for the primary, and then so the sorry, I mean uh, for the x-axis, and then do this again for the y-axis. Okay, so this is gonna be something like age in years, right? So that means, and then over here, this is like the number of hours slept, right? So you can use something like this, number of hours slept, something like that. Okay, now the chart title should be something like, you usually should say something like the number of hours slept in children of different ages, something like that. Okay, now let's see what your textbook said. Your textbook probably use something that's very similar. Yeah, amount of sleep by age. Okay, so that's good too. So here I'm just being a little bit more specific. I'm just saying the number of hours slept in children of different ages. Okay, now what else is missing? The error bars, of course, right? For the SEM, so you just highlight this and then go to click, and then go to error bars, and then go to this arrow here, and now go to more options, scroll down, go to customs, and click specify value, and then highlight this once for the positive, and then highlight this again for the negative values, and there you go. You are done for today. So just try to see if you can recreate this graph, and if you cannot, you can go back to the textbook to refer to that, or you can just watch this video a few more times. Okay, and now this week we also have your exam. Now your exam is going to cover chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, and of course you can use whatever you want except another person. Okay, you can use anything that you can get your access to on the web, on here, in the textbook. So that's it. Okay, so I will see you guys next week.